All right, everybody, welcome to the Killer Main podcast series. This week is the first ever follow-up video, which basically will only happen if a killer gets a substantial change or some kind of major rework, which you could argue Singularity got both, depending on who you ask. We have our returning guest, Phoenix, if they would like to introduce themselves.
Yeah, hi. I'm Phoenix. I'm a Singularity main. I'm also the unpaid intern behind the scenes. I do the timestamps on the other Killer Main podcasts, but yeah, I love the Singularity. I play them all the time.
Yes, Phoenix is the one who actually runs the channel. I don't do anything.
And I
um,
do it for free.
yeah. For now. Um, what was I going to say? So yeah, Singularity. Um, Once again, we were just talking about this. I don't really know how to structure this completely, but I guess the thing we'll start with is the reason this happened.
hmm
Um, and to be fair, it really didn't accomplish this based on the numbers I've seen. But Singularity was what, the third most picked killer in the game, or least picked killer in the game.
I believe at his lowest he was the second or third. Yeah, I think you might be right. But he
Yeah.
was he had like a 1.8 pick rate or something like ridiculously low.
And considering his often being higher up on the tier lists and decently strong in the eyes of most people once you got to learn him. It was very strange his pick rate was as low as it is. And I think Behavior took notice of that, realized the pick rate was as low as it was, and wanted to make some substantial changes, mostly quality of life stuff, to make him more approachable.
hmm
Which we'll get more into this in a little bit, but would you say the rework slash update did that?
I mean, I personally I do think that they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. It's kind of sad that the numbers don't reflect that well because I've seen people saying that he's so much easier to play now, especially for people like me who are playing on console.
Mm-hmm.
Like they say he's like, oh, he's playable now. I mean, he's always been playable, but he's much easier to like pick up and play. The real goal of the changes from the horse's mouth from the devs is they wanted to keep his skill ceiling intact, so his character mastery, but they wanted to make him more accessible for more people. They wanted him to be easier to pick up and play. They wanted to lower his skill floor.
Mm-hmm.
um and I do think that they accomplished that because he's the things that were kind of like the things that were kind of holding him back from like minuscule like minute things, like they really smoothed him out. So I do think that they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. Um, some of those things were kind of controversial, and we'll get into those here in a
Yes.
minute. But yeah, I think it did, and his play rate did spike up when the rework happened. Or are we calling this a rework? What was this?
I believe they just called it a they just oh god, they just called it an update, like a medium update. But I think that people would argue it was not a medium update, it was a major update.
Yeah,
But I mean, they didn't change his power fundamentally, so I don't know if it would be considered a rework. I wouldn't consider it a rework
well,
personally.
no, but I mean they classified Legion as a rework, and it wasn't really a rework.
Yeah,
That's why the wording
I
is
don't
so
know.
strange. Um,
It's I think it treads a fine line, but I would say it's more just like a lot of changes.
yeah. I'll just call it an update for now, just to make it simple. Uh, the update, like after it drops, his play rate did shoot up. I think it went up to like
Mhm.
he was like the second most played killer for about a week. Um, and then it went right back down, which was strange because once again, a lot of people were agreeing. Not only is he easier to play, he's still just as, if not stronger than he was.
Yeah.
Um, and I fundamentally, I'm trying to wrap my head around like what it is about this character that just eludes people. It just pushes them away.
Uh, I want to say because he's easier to pick up and play, but he's still not very easy to like to master.
Hmm.
And I feel like people I want to kind of chalk it. This is kind of just a tinfoil hat theory a little bit, but just kind of take this with a grain of salt. But how many Singularity content creators are out there? There's the big one, there's Coco, and then you've got like Harry, and I guess I could consider myself, but I'm not notable.
There's like three or
But
four. Yeah.
yeah, but also the people that are playing him and making content, like they're really good. Like
Hmm.
they're scary. So I think people when they see him be played that way, they kind of assume that's the standard, and it's really hard to play at that level. I mean, you really have to put a lot of time and effort into the killer, and you have to be really, 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 really good. So I don't know if that's something that's deterring people because they're not reaching that level when that's the minority of players. I don't
Hmm.
know, just kind of a theory.
I mean, like Dredge kind of suffers from the similar problem. It's always so funny. These two killers have so much in common. It's
Yeah.
uncanny. They're both anniversary killers. Both of their weapons are very similar. They both
Hmm.
have teleporting powers. They're both not picked very often. And they're both extremely misunderstood, I feel. And they both have like
Yes.
two major creators who make content on them. It's so weird. Oh, and then septic touching genetic limits. That we'll never let that
Yeah.
die. Um, but the content creator part of it, I think, is true too. But like Ghostface, I think is in a similar camp to that. But a lot of people play Ghostface.
Yeah, I mean Ghostface is also kind of I mean, it's a different ball game altogether because Ghostface is like he's just an M1 killer, you know. You don't really have to do anything
Hmm.
particularly crazy to benefit like and you know, no shade to like Ghostface players, like they're really good, but like the character is very simple. Like people can play him like a stealth killer. They can actually play like the macro game where they're like tagging multiple people. Like he's flexible in that sense, and Singularity is too, but it's different. Like
Hmm.
Singularity is more it's more in depth, I think.
Yeah. I think he's also like if survivors know what they're doing, even after the changes, it can be very frustrating to play him. I think is another caveat to the whole situation. Um,
Hmm.
which they tried to alleviate a bit, and they did alleviate some of the problems with the EMP changes.
Yeah.
Um, which I guess will be the first change we'll get into. The biggest thing with the EMPs is they made the EMPs not auto complete. You have to finish. Is it the last 10%, right?
Yeah, it's let's see, I believe we have the numbers in here because I'm drawing a blank on what the numbers are exactly. Where are
Uh,
the EMP changes?
overclock buff. Modify the EMP in supply cases to limit its visibility.
But yeah, it's the last. Yeah, so they passively print up to 90%, and the last 10% you have to
Mm-hmm.
manually punch in.
Yeah, which just I mean that alone makes him way less
I'm
frustrating.
sorry, 97%, not 90.
Oh, not it's 97. The last 3%.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was mistaken. Yeah, so they passively print up to 97%. That's when they turn yellow, and then you have to manually print the last 3%. And the only real goal with that change was just to stop people from picking up EMPs in your face like mid chase,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
which was super
that was
frustrating.
like the most. I've talked about this story before. The Red Forest game I had where um I was setting my pods up and no one was doing EMPs and I started chasing a Kate and since no one was doing EMPs, she just kept running to boxes the whole chase. Like from one box to
Jeez.
another, just picking up EMPs and un EMP or un slipstreaming herself. So I couldn't.
Hmm.
I didn't have a power. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, no, it's always super aggravating, or at least it was to me to like hit somebody with an M1. They get their post hit speed boost and they just pick up an EMP and then they just continue on their merry way. Like they have no fear of me at all. They're not respecting my power at all. And then
Um,
they have an EMP, so like they don't have to.
yeah. I think another thing with it is like I think it really is just perception of like when you're playing the killer. He feels like yes, we'll get into the speed boost and stuff. Like yes, he feels very fast sometimes, and like a lot is
Hmm.
happening at once. But he's very slow in a certain sense. Um, like you're setting up it's similar to Trapper and Hag, where it's like you're setting up your web,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's definitely probably one of the better ways to play him. Because what I do is I just kind of set up like I don't like to set up in like an area of the map. I kind of like to have I call them high traffic pods or high traffic cams. I just set them up in places where I
Hmm.
think people are going to be pathing to. So usually it's between strong tiles or like from a tile to a main building. Things, uh just Dead Dog Saloon, for example. Like I'll just throw one up in front of main building because that's a really strong structure. So you can shut that down really easily with that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think he starts out slow because you do kind of have to think about where people are going to be, because you don't only have to think about which gens people are spawning on, you have to think about which crates they're spawning on. So you have to be aware of that.
Hmm.
So he does have kind of that slow setup. It's not as drastic as like Trapper or Hag, but he definitely has a lot going on where he feels very chaotic to play. Like he feels like there's always going on, always something to do, always something to think about.
Yeah, it's not like some of the simpler killers like I mean, there's so much crap for this, like Blight,
Hmm.
which while mechanically intensive, at the end of the day, it's rush towards survivor and hit them.
I bounce at wall, I hit survivor.
Yeah, you're not thinking about like camera placements, line of sights, um, where the EMP boxes are, what people are doing at any given time. Like there's a lot less that goes into it, I feel. And with
Hmm.
Larry, there's just so much you have to think about. Even though they have simplified him a bit, the base is still there. Um, and I think that is definitely part of the problem why people still aren't playing him. And I don't think there's any way for them to fix that.
I mean, he's got a lot of working like I don't think that he's this like insanely difficult killer that requires, as you say, a PhD to play.
Hmm.
Um, but I do think that there are a lot of moving parts to keep track of, and I think that does kind of it throws people off of wanting to play him, because I mean, you play a killer like Blight or Wraith even, and their power is so simple that even if you're not that good with them, or if you're just picking them up for the first time, like you can kind of understand what you're supposed to be doing. Like, oh well, if I hit this button with Blight, I rush forward, and you
Hmm.
may not know like bounce logic, but you kind of understand what's supposed to be happening.
Right.
But Singularity, it's like, well, I place a pod and I can look at people, but now what? You're not even scratching the surface of, well, I can look at people, I can put cameras, oh, I can watch gens, which is not really what you want to be doing. You want to be using them in chase, and people don't really understand that. They don't understand how powerful that is, or knowing how the teleport works, how the chain ball works on his actual teleport. Like it's all that kind of stuff that makes him, like, when you do master that stuff, it makes him very, very oppressive, but it's hard to get all of that down,
Hmm.
especially when there's not that many resources out there for him.
No, I think that's another big problem with it. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of always saying like, oh well, if there's no content, then the character kind of like dies off. But I mean, I make this comparison all the time. Chucky's like the third or fifth most played killer in the game, and there's like two creators, and I'm one of them.
Hmm.
It's it's very strange, but he's still super popular. But he's also very simple, so I think that is definitely part of it. Um,
Yeah.
but on to some of the other quality of life changes. Speaking of, we talked in the past before about Soma's family photo.
Hmm.
And we'll get into the add-on that the changes to the add-on. But we talked about not making a base kit because I think both of us had the same idea that like we didn't want it base kit. We don't think it should be. Um, and the way the devs went about it, I think was the best way to do it. It was just partially base kit, but they got rid of the add-on completely. Uh,
Yeah. No, I think most Singularity players were in that camp of, yeah, Soma is really nice to have, but we don't want it base kit. Like everybody that I talked to, like I had a really great discussion with El Doinko, who's another Singularity player,
mhm.
and he also agreed that he likes having the haste, but he didn't want the whole 5%. And I don't necessarily think it's even family photo itself that was the problem. It was the fact that it stacked with rapid brutality, because that would give you 10% haste after you hit somebody.
Yeah, yeah,
And now that combo has been effectively nerfed. You can only get maximum of 8% now.
it basically let Larry do not exactly, but kind of basically a double tap sometimes.
Kind of, yeah.
Um, but I think we got the best of both worlds with them making it only slightly base kit and getting rid of the add-on, because that's often a problem with stuff like that when you make something base kit is like you have to balance out the add-on that it came from also at the same time. And
Hmm.
while the one they changed it to is debatable, um, they definitely I think that alone makes him feel way smoother to play.
Yes, and it's not something that you notice, like, it's not super, like, aggressively fast, like, when you're playing, but it's enough to make it can make a difference between, "Oh, well, now I get this hit when I wouldn't have before if I didn't have photo on."
Hmm.
Um, and I think during the last talk we had, I kinda said I compared what I wanted for photo to be like what they did to Ghostface with the chewed pen add-on
Hmm.
for his power recovery, where they took a little bit of that and gave it to him base kit, and then they changed the add-on. But it's done that way so that people feel like they don't have to run it, and I think that they achieved that with Singularity really well.
Yeah, I think Ghostface is in a different camp because I think the way they got around that was there's just other better add-ons.
Mhm.
Cough, cough, Phillies. We'll die on that hill. There's a Ghostface main on Twitter who hates me for saying that, but it's true. Um, what was I gonna say? Uh, but a lot of the other stuff, it's like a lot of the other like changes they did were just very, very just quality of life stuff. Just cameras are faster to set up. The sound effect that happens on the when you're locking on somebody, the color change. Um,
Yes.
these are things that don't really like mean much in the long run, but they just make him feel better. And I think that's what they were trying to accomplish at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
whether or not, I mean, if you were trying to teleport to somebody before and you got no feedback, and it was also the reticle used to be like it used to be green, but it used to be like a lighter green when you were targeting on them. So the fact that now it's pink, well, okay, well, that makes it a lot easier to register. And then the little sound notification that you get when you're locked onto somebody, it tickles my brain. I don't know.
yeah, it's just feedback.
Yeah.
And the survivors get it too, which is kind of nice, don't they? They get it too, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do. Uh-huh.
yeah, which was something that wasn't a thing before, was it?
No, they didn't get well, they only got the noise notification if you were aiming at them through a biopod, they would get that really loud, like,
Mm,
alarm, like that "bong" sound, but,
yeah, because
uh, if you were just manually aiming at them with the gun arm, they did not get any sort of, like, no they didn't get any sort of feedback until you actually teleported to them.
yeah, because I like unlike Deathslinger, who I argue probably shouldn't have that. With Singularity, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't feel as bad that they could, because I mean, like at the end of the day, if Singularity is chasing you, he probably has his gun up.
Yeah.
You like, unless like he's like in the loop with you, and even then, probably has the gun up. There's no reason not to most of the time. Um,
Yeah. No, and what I found also is using that new sound that survivors tend to not know what it means because they never see Singularity.
mhm.
That can be used for some mind games too. Like you can fake teleport with the gun arm now instead of throwing up a camera.
Yeah, once again, it's such a small thing. Like, and it means a lot. The other big change, and this is one I think I don't know if our thoughts on it are the same, but I know the community is a little split on it. The killer instinct. Um,
Hmm.
so whenever you tag somebody for any reason, they get killer instinct on them, which I have said from the cameras is great because even someone who plays him moderately, I get lost sometimes when I come out of a camera. So it's really
Hmm.
nice to get my position back just with the killer instinct proc. But the killer instinct from the spread is something I've said I think doesn't need to stay.
Hmm.
I think it's too much. I think it's too punishing, and I think it's too much information. I don't know if
Yeah.
your thoughts have changed on this since it's come out, but
I mean, I definitely agree. I like having it on the manual slipstream. So when you actually tag them from a biopod, I mean, I put a lot of time into that killer, and I still get disoriented sometimes too. So it helps me out, and I really appreciate that change.
mhm,
But I do think having it on the spread is too much. I think it's way too much free information. Because before, like his whole his whole skill expression, and I'm sure we'll probably get into that with some of the other changes, but the macro gameplay, and it kind of just does that for you.
Yeah, and like not enough fun. Like if it was an add-on, I think I would be fine with it.
Yeah,
Because I mean, he already has
you
the
kind
one.
of
Yeah, I mean, he has the one add-on that kind of already does that. It's the
crew manifest.
is that the green one?
Oh no, I was talking about the one that gives aura when they get slipstreamed.
Oh no! I was talking about the one that makes them scream when they undo it.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that's live wires.
yeah. Like he kind of already has a similar add-on to it in that sense, and the aura one as well. Which the aura one, I mean, I never really thought about it. It's kind of not pointless now, but
It kind of is. When they gave him Killer Instinct base kit, they kind of made that add-on totally irrelevant because what counters Killer Instinct? Distortion doesn't. Calm
yeah,
Spirit doesn't.
that's true. Wow, I didn't think
And
about
it's
that.
base kit. You don't even need an add-on for it. You just have it for free.
Huh. Well then.
They also changed it because what Crew Manifest used to do is you used to get aura whenever you slipstream somebody by any means. So if they spread it to each other or if you did it yourself, you would get the aura reading on them.
Mhm.
But they changed it now, and I believe it only applies if they spread. So if you slipstream somebody yourself, I don't think it gives you the aura reading anymore. So they kind of nerfed it
Mhm.
as well.
It's
So yeah, that add-on is not good anymore.
all that tells me is that they can make the Killer Instinct proc different depending if it spreads or not. Someone was telling me they couldn't because it's the same coding, which is the dumbest thing I've heard. I know they can because there's add-ons that affect both of them differently. Um,
Yeah.
and then some I guess we'll talk about Soma real quick because it's probably the most controversial thing. Um,
Yes.
so the change they did to Soma though. So we both had the prediction that what they were going to do is take the base kit overclock duration thing that he used to have, um,
Hmm.
and put that into the add-on for Soma. So we thought was going to happen. Um,
That's what I really wanted to happen.
that is not what happened. They made
No.
Soma arguably one of the best, or one of like probably I'd say like top four best tunneling
Hmm.
add-ons in the game.
Yep.
Uh, and before someone makes the argument, oh well, we should nerf pinheads first before we nerf singularities. That's not the point. The point is, I want both of them nerfed at the same time, honestly, as soon as
Didn't they
possible.
kind of nerf pinheads as well? Like the original pain, I believe they gave it like a little like they gave survivors like an immunity period where they can't be put into deep wounds by it. Like it's like a buffer period.
Yeah, but
So they did that to kind of counter
yeah, but
hard slugging or
you
hard
can,
tunneling.
yeah, you can still do it. I think it's like only like
Yeah.
I think it's like half a second. It's like it's not enough to like really matter in my opinion, but yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
No, yeah.
you just can't mindlessly do it. And to be fair, you can't mindlessly do it with singularity either because it's only from a camera, right?
Yeah, I mean yeah, it's only from a biopod and it's only if yeah, because if they get slipstreamed by like somebody else that's close to them, it won't work. It won't put them into deep wounds. But my argument, and I made a discussion about this because I was concerned that it was going to be a big problem. But I think it's easier to look at somebody with a biopod than it is to hit somebody with a pinhead chain.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's almost like it has an auto locking system on it or something,
Yep.
which we'll get into that here in a minute. Um,
So yeah, Soma, I'm not a fan of the new Soma at all.
I really do think it needs to be looked at. I hope behavior doesn't just do what they usually do and just I just kind of made myself sad saying that, but they're probably just going to let this sit for a while, unfortunately. Um,
Granted, he's not popular even after the changes, so maybe I mean it's not going to be that big of a deal. But I still think that it has the potential to become a big problem.
I think anything that encourages being the key word, encourages tunneling or like
Hmm.
enables it, I think is always a bad
Hmm.
idea. Um, that's why I don't like
Also, the hindered effect
add-ons.
on it sucks.
Yeah, we talked about this on the PTP. I was like, you told me I had a hinder
Yeah.
effect, and I was like, what?
No, it doesn't.
I got hit by it. I didn't even notice hinder effect.
That's the big problem with it though, is it's only good for one thing because it's a purple add-on, and it's only good if you're trying to play, kind of mean, like you're trying to tunnel somebody,
Mhm.
and if you're just trying to play normally, it does nothing.
It's I think a lot of deep wound add-ons have that problem. Um, except for the ones that like Traver's deep wound one isn't a problem because he can't really like force you into a trap after you get off hook. I mean, he can, but at that point you're dead.
Yeah.
You're on a trap. It doesn't matter. Um, Deathslinger has a similar problem, but the issue with Deathslinger is like he has to commit to having you on the spear, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I've never been a big fan of most of the deep wound add-ons.
I
Um,
had somebody in my comments telling me, like, oh, so all deep wounds is problematic then? Because in that case, Legion and Deathslinger are a problem. Like, it's like you said, like, Deathslinger has to shoot somebody, reel them, and then hit them, and then
mhm.
go through a cooldown. And Legion also has to chase somebody, hit them, they get a post-hit speed boost, and then they go on cooldown. Someone doesn't do that.
Yeah,
I don't think it gives them a speed boost.
no, it wouldn't at all because it's not technically a health state.
Mm-mm.
Um, which is which also I actually found out the other day. Did you know that Styptic isn't a health state?
Oh no, I did not know that.
I learned this the hard way when I was testing Disillusion.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, why didn't Disillusion go off? And I realized it's because they use a Styptic, and I hit them and it didn't count,
Huh.
which
But
is
it would grant you like Stabifil stacks, which is weird.
yes, yeah, I know.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
All
deep
right.
deep wound is very inconsistent sometimes on what it counts as a health state.
God damn it. Legion added this super problematic mechanic when they came out. Sorry, Axolotl.
I mean, like, I don't know. I think Deathslinger's deep wound is fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Um, I think they're the only two with a base kit too, aren't they? Am I missing one?
Um, I think so. I think yeah, because nobody else really. Yeah, no. Um, just looking at the roster, no, I don't think anybody else gives it base kit except for them.
Yeah. Once again, I think Legion's entire design is around it, and I think Deathslinger is fine. I kind of don't understand why it's on him, but I don't care that it is. Like I mean,
Yeah,
it makes sense thematically. It's just really kind of just there though.
yeah. I mean, given the effort that he has to go through to put you into deep wounds, I mean, I think it's fine.
Um, but I mean, other than Soma, the other add-on changes I think were all very very good. They
Yes.
buffed my favorite add-on, which was the crystal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which what was the general consensus from Singularity mains about that one?
Most people didn't think it was very good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, yeah, I mean, the ones that I talked to, they think it was his less. They thought it was his weaker iridescent add-on because requisition form, that add-on is just insane.
Right.
But no, iridescent crystal shard, because a lot of them are in agreement that Singularity doesn't really need aura reading either. He has cameras for that, but that's kind of the main argument. But I think what you use it for with your no brain Larry build, I think that's a different story. Like they just straight up buffed your build, which is
Oh
fine.
yeah, yeah. I have a habit of this happening a lot. Uh, were you on stream the other day when I played Knockout Ghostface?
I don't think so.
So my Knockout Ghostface build is Lethal Pursuer, um, Knockout, uh, Brutal Strength, and no, 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 no. I forget what it is. Whatever the key thing is knockout lethal pursuer. The patch
Mhm.
where they buffed where they quote reworked Ghostface, they buffed lethal pursuer and knockout.
Oh.
So my
Okay.
entire build got buffed.
Oh God. Oh, knockout.
Why did they buff knockout? Don't ask. I don't
Oh
know.
man.
I don't know why they buffed knockout. God, I hate
I'm
that.
a filthy knockout exploiter, I guess. I do use that perk on occasion.
I hate that perk so much. I use it too, and I fucking hate it.
Just Singularity's really really good at slugging, so slug builds are kind of disgusting on him.
Speaking of the slugging, me and Rev were talking about this the other day with Trickster. Do you think that if they got rid of the biopods on like when someone goes down, do you think that would be a massive nerf to Larry?
I do, yeah, because I think a lot of his strength comes from his ability to snowball.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely would hurt his snowball potential a lot if they did that. Now, I don't know whether I want them to do that or not. I think it would be something that would be I think it would definitely affect his ability to do that. Gosh, I don't know. Because on one hand, like slugging it's super unhealthy. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's not. But also like I do that myself, so I'm kind of torn.
It's one of those things like I've watched you play. I've watched other Singularities play. Slugging is kind of how you have to play Singularity
Hmm.
a lot of the time. So like I feel like if they did that, it would be a massive nerf to him.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, there's been games where I've got three people in the ground and they're all slipstreamed, and then if they try and reset, the fourth person comes and picks them up, and then they all get tagged, and now you have killer instinct. Now I know everybody's resetting. Now I can go do it all again. But there's been games where I'll just keep slugging and forcing them to go pick up and slugging and forcing them to come pick up again. And the
mhm.
moment I start like taking hooks on people, I lose gens like crazy. Like I start losing the game because I tried to hook.
That happened to me the other day. I was playing Trickster and I was doing a full slug thing, and the game was going great. I had a lot of pressure. Nothing was happening. The moment I went to go actually hook somebody, that's when I started losing. It's
Yeah, that's
it. Yeah. This is more of a direction of the game. I really do think slugging is going to become a problem soon.
yeah. I think how do you really address slugging in a way that doesn't hurt killers like that kind of depend on it?
You don't.
Because
You
I
don't.
mean, uh, I think the big problem is that it's really boring, right? That it's not fun to sit on the ground for 4 minutes. Like it's fucking boring. I
Yeah.
don't like being bled out, and especially if it's like a situation where it's not necessary. Like if the killer's just doing it just to be a jerk, it's like, oh well, this sucks. But even if they're doing it and you know why they're doing it, it's still like, oh well, I'm just gonna sit here and scroll TikTok on my phone, I guess, for 4 minutes. But
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if people have been saying they want like a forfeit option for a while, and I don't know if that would remedy it, but I guess.
I wouldn't want it because I feel like it would just lead to the same problems we have now of people just giving up.
Yeah, as soon as they get knocked down, they just give up.
Um, I mean, VHS had slightly a solution where you could go around, like your recovery wasn't just click a button. You actually had to go around and like get your health.
Mm,
So it gave you something to do.
yeah.
Like the way it would work. Did you you didn't really play VHS, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because you would
Yeah.
get knocked down on the ground and you had to go pick up the little orbs on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would be your recovery was that.
Yeah.
So it gave you something to do. Uh, and it was very strange because like I don't think I could see anything like that happening in Dead by Daylight, but like I think the slugging problem is just I think the solution is something that's also not easy because I think the solution isn't necessarily how do we nerf slugging, it's how do we buff hooking because
Remote hooks.
oh yeah, it's almost like um I mean that's the thing, right? It's just like I mean a lot of times I don't go for hooking because it takes too long. I don't have any perks to synergize with it, so I have no reason to. Um,
Mhm.
I lose my momentum. I like. There's a
It
possibility
really
of
is a time
yeah,
investment
yeah,
to hook people.
or even the possibility of a save.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like let's say I pick somebody up and it took me like let's say a minute to down them. Let's say I was like having a really bad match, and then I pick them up and a pallet save happens. Now you could argue, oh, well, you should have watched out for the pallet save. Yeah, yeah, fair. My point is like if I don't or not, like I just lost all of my pressure.
Hmm.
When if I just slugged them and just kept moving on, I have my pressure immediately right then and there.
Yep. And that's not even taking into account perks like "We'll Make It" or the newly buffed "Why did they do this? Oh my god" resurgence.
because no one was running it.
Oh my god. Oh,
uh, I agree with you on resurgence. I just that's always been my argument. Is like people are like, why did they buff it? All right, were you running it? That's the thing. Everyone who's like, it was still really good. I haven't seen a soul run it since it came out.
are you serious? I've been getting at least 3 in every of my lobbies.
Well, no, recently. No,
Yes.
no, no. I meant like since it came out on
Oh,
like,
before.
yeah, that's what
Oh,
I meant.
yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't really see it unless
Yeah,
they were actually running like you'd only really see it on people that really coordinated, like, "I'm gonna bring Resurgence, you're gonna bring We'll Make It, and then we're gonna insta-heal onto the hook." Like,
yeah. Like a bunch of people talk about like why did it get buffed, and it's like that's why no one was using it.
yeah.
Like that was the problem, and now everyone's using it, which is great. I mean, it's bad, like it's annoying, but like it's variety.
It is variety, but man, it's if people are I mean, I'm seeing it, like, super frequently now, and it feels like unless I'm running, like, Sloppy or Gift of Pain, like, I can't keep people like, I can't tag and rotate,
I think
and it's like I can't keep Swift Pressure.
I think people are starting to realize how strong resetting is.
Mhm.
Um, I think the biggest reason people really weren't like realizing how good it was is because a lot of the best killers for a while there was like Nurse with exposed perks, so resetting didn't matter.
Yes. Yeah.
And right now, like Billy is still really good, and it's like
Mm.
resetting doesn't matter against him either, really.
Yeah.
Um, but against most of the rest of the cast, like it's massive. Uh, but yeah, I mean the same thing with slugging on killer. I think people are starting to realize how good slugging is.
Mhm.
The one downside to slugging is that you can't use gift to or you can't use pain res and pop. That's the one downside. But if you're building up enough momentum fast enough, it doesn't matter. Uh, Speaking of a little bit on this, we talked about the skill ceiling and stuff, and this is probably the biggest debate that
Mm.
happened when the change happened. And I'm sure you can rant about this for a while. Um, so before I get into the original change, the compromise they came to at the end of it, I think, was the best course of action, and I'm fine with it. And I haven't heard
Mhm.
anyone complain about it since. But originally, when the change happened, they made it so Larry basically had an auto lock feature when you went to a cam to the nearest survivor that was in range.
Mhm.
A lot of people had a problem with this because, and I quote, it got rid of his skill ceiling. I vehemently disagree with that point. Um, but a lot of people thought it did. And what are your general thoughts on the changes they've done to it since then? Or now it's you had to toggle it to do it, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've probably seen me. Like, I'm pretty like I keep to myself when it comes to like social media. I mean, I don't really engage with a whole lot of people on like Twitter. I don't get into like arguments about balance and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was extremely vocal about those changes when they came out, and it's because like I made a whole like rant about it, and I don't think I've ever been as vocal about that as I had. I don't think I've ever been as vocal about anything in the Dead by Daylight space as I was about that because and maybe I'm biased because I play with a controller, so it felt like those changes were like life and death for me. Um, so when they came out on the PTB, I tried them, and it's like, yeah, he's easier, but my god, this feels so good. Like I felt like if anything, it just kind of brought controller users up to the same level that PC players already were at. Because like if you're on mouse and keyboard and you enter a cam, like you can just instantly flick your camera where it needs to be. Like there's no thought, there's no time. It's just you can immediately aim where you need to be. Like if you kind of know where you need to look at. Controller players don't have that luxury because our sensitivity is locked. It's limited.
Right.
So it kind of felt like it evened the playing field. I was extremely supportive of the auto lock, and when they said that they were going to be removing it, I was kind of crushed because I was like, "Oh my god, this felt really nice to use." And I don't agree with the sentiment that people were saying where it watered him down, it made him too easy. made him too strong. I don't think it did, because the people that needed it or benefited from it, it was fine, but it didn't impact the people who were already good at the killer.
I mean, I've said it on a lot of these interviews whenever the topic of skill expression comes up. And the thing with Singularity that I vehemently say all the time, if I'm watching someone play Singularity, the last thing I'm thinking about when I'm like, oh, they're so good at Singularity is look at their aim.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I'm thinking about. No one, I don't mean this to offend any Singularity player. No one cares about your aim.
No.
Not in the
Because when
camera,
you watch,
anyways.
yeah, no, because like, because when they introduced the auto aim to his kit, he got three different kinds of auto aim. He got the auto locking on the biopods. He got the it's not really an auto aim, it's like aim assist on the gun arm. So when you actually go to teleport to somebody with the gun arm, it kind of like sticks on them a little bit.
Mm.
Um, not so it's not substantial. It again kind of helps out controller players who struggle with that. But again, PC players, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Um, and then he also got a little bit of an adjustment to like the placing the pods on the environment. Like they feel a little bit more sticky now. And that's really just to prevent you from like, oh look, my reticle's green. Oh look, nothing happened. Now I have to sit here and fix my biopod.
Yeah.
So
But I think the major point with it is I feel like a lot of people saying this didn't. I hate saying it this way because I sound like an asshole, but I think a lot of people saying that just didn't understand what Larry's skill ceiling actually was.
yeah, because if you watch the really good singularities, like they're not the aiming is like the last thing that you're watching. You're watching how they manage everybody, how they manage EMPs. They know where everybody is. They know where they need to be. They know which cameras they need to be checking. Um, they're super aggressive in chase, and it's super fun to watch. The last thing I'm thinking of, oh wow, they hit that teleport. That's really good. It's like the last thing I'm thinking. I'm like, oh my god, how did they know to check that camera, dude? It's like it's crazy.
Like people do know the camera's technically auto lock anyways, right? Like even before this change, they technically aimed for you.
I mean, yeah, because the window that you need to actually like scan somebody, it's fucking huge. Like it's a massive
it's like
window.
half the screen. It's like
Yeah.
um I don't know. I thought it was just a dumb thing for people to complain about, but like the middle ground they came up to where you have to hold the button and it'll do it for
Mhm.
you, I think was very smart and clever. I don't think it needed to happen, but if it appeases both sides, I think it was the best way to do it.
I was totally happy with that compromise. Like I was over the moon because I felt like it was good because it's still like it kind of puts you into this situation where yeah, it takes like a split second to go into the camera now if you are going to use the auto lock, but if you're going to get a scan, it's huge. Like that
Yeah.
time investment was worth it. Um, and there's very few but and I was talking to Coco about this because it kind of adds depth to his kit now because now there's situations where you don't want to do it and there's situations where you should be doing it. So now he has this given this take, well, should I take the time investment to use the auto aim or should I just go in there and see what I can see?
I'm not gonna lie. I forget it. I forget it's a thing half the time.
I mean, again, I'm on controller, so I use it all the time.
hmm
But it's just because it makes my life easier.
Yeah.
But that's
Well.
what it's supposed to be for. That's what
Yeah.
it's for.
Yeah. And I think the it does make it so it's what like 0.2 seconds longer to mark them, right?
Yeah, because when they put the changes on the PTB, they they made the scan time take longer by zero point 0.2 seconds. So
hmm
I believe that's the amount of time that carried over now to like you have to hold the button for zero point 0.2 seconds before it
Yeah.
locks on
Yeah. It basically
because they reverted
evens
that
out.
change to the
Yeah.
scan time.
Yeah. But honestly, though, like I said, whenever I'm playing them, I kind of forget the auto lock is a thing. I,
Yeah,
I forget that if I hold the button down, it does it. But once again, I'm
I
on
get
mouse and keyboard. I don't have to worry about it too much.
yeah, because I mean, if you're playing on mouse, like it doesn't really impact your gameplay that much. It could even, I mean, for people that are playing on like a super high, crazy DPI, like it could probably hurt them a little bit. But I think it was probably his least problematic change out of all of them. I definitely have way more issues with like Soma and the Killer Instinct than I did with the Auto Lock. But I do know of like one or two people who no longer play Singularity. Like they were pretty notable, and they dropped him completely because they thought he was too easy, and they thought he watered him down. And I mean, like I said, there was a whole rant that I made about this, but people were being like so gatekeepy about these changes that the auto lock in particular.
You know, there is a special sect of people who, and I would know because I used to be one of these people, who only want to play a character in a game because they're unpopular.
Hmm.
And that's the only reason they want to play them. And not for and not in like the sense of like, I want to play this unpopular character to show that they can be good. No, they just want to play the unpopular character just to like be special. Um,
Yeah.
and when the character starts to become a little bit more popular because of changes that they make to them to make them more popular, a lot of those people drop that character because now they can't be special
Hmm.
little snowflakes. Um, it's sad to see. Like, I don't know.
It's a strange kind of like elitism because like in my mind, like I love Singularity and I want other players to love him as much as I do because if more people do, then maybe he'll get some more skins. But you know, never in my mind did I think, wow, more people are going to be playing my killer.
this should be out when it's announced. And I can't say it live because if someone from Behavior happens to be watching, I will get in so much trouble. But I can allude to things. You're going to be very happy this Halloween.
That's exciting.
You, Deathslinger, and Chucky players are going to be very happy this Halloween.
Chucky?
I didn't say anything. Anyways,
Okay.
um,
Okay. Moving on.
yeah, I can either confirm or deny what I just said. But
Fair.
uh, yeah, I think it's another thing. I mean, it is kind of sad that the best Singularity skin we've gotten in a long time has been a recolor.
It's a good recolor, don't get me wrong.
This is really funny that everyone like I saw a bunch of Singularity mans just like losing their minds over the recolor. It's like
Oh yeah, no, people are going bananas over it. It's like, guys, we have this skin already.
but now it's orange. It's great. It's cool.
That's
Um,
how starved we are for fucking outfits. Like, oh god, like I know like the whole joke like was Night got no cosmetics in the store, but I think like at this point, like I think Singularity is a little bit worse off than Night.
well, I think once again, because people will bring up the argument with Knight. Oh well, Knight has a lot of skins. Yeah, that's not the point any of us were making about Knight. The point we were making was that like you can't buy any of them.
Yeah.
They were all like events or the battle pass, and same with
Hmm.
Larry to a degree. But even then, he got less.
Yeah. God.
I still blame the weapon. I blame the weapon. I know that's a dumb cop out, but I think that's genuinely why we don't get that many. It's just so
I mean,
unique and so hard to make a skin for it.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's different things you could do with it. Like, yeah, it's just kind of like a scythe or a claw, but you can make like different kinds of claws. Like,
Yeah, I mean the art contest. Definitely think, and I was actually going to bring this up later, but you did the mantis one, right?
I did.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mantis. I'm sure people have seen it, but the mantis concept for Singularity, which turned out amazing. You didn't draw that,
thank
right?
you.
Did you draw it?
I did, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure. But it came out amazing, and the thing is, I think I saw more love for Singularity during this cosmetic contest than I have since his release.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it was really refreshing. Um, him and Dredge, I saw so many Dredge skins.
Like
Um,
last year, during the cosmetic contest, like Dredge was kind of the star of the show. Like he got so many really cool like submissions, and then they ended up with a clown skin. But but this year, it's been like I've been amazed at how many Singularity concepts I've seen out there. Like I was blown away.
um, And it's just been great to not see like the same like I still vehemently am under the I don't I maybe this is just me, but I think like if a killer wins, specifically a killer, if a killer wins or even a survivor wins 1 year, they shouldn't be allowed to be in the next year.
Yeah, no,
Um,
for sure.
I think that should be a rule from now on because don't get me wrong, I like Clown. I understand why he got the skins he did, but yeah, like him winning 2 times in a row is a bit suspect. Just saying. Um,
I mean, it just kind of feels unfair because, like, I mean, both of the clown skins that he got from the contest are really good. Like, I love Mr. Puddles, but I don't I don't think it's fair to like the other characters. There's like what 36 killers in the game now.
mhm.
Um, I mean less than that because the contest is only for originals, but still, like unknown can have some crazy skins.
I don't think Unknown can win.
You don't think so?
I think they're too new.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
Because I don't know. Because like when does the skin come out versus when the contest is over? Because I don't even actually know the answer to that.
Um, it takes they didn't specify it. It took a long time for the last batch to come out, but usually it's like several months between when the winner is picked versus when the actual skin comes out. But
And
when it does come out free, so
yeah, plus this time they're doing 3 winners, so that's
oh
great.
yeah, that's gonna be a lot of time. And considering they're not really gonna be making money off of that,
It depends,
I mean,
sometimes.
less people buy the Rift to get
Um,
to it faster.
yeah, once again, it has been nice to see the Singularity love in that case.
hmm
Gameplay, not so much. Once again, I mean, we talked about it earlier, the play rate really hasn't gone up too much.
Yep, he's
Um,
sitting at 2.11% right now.
that's not too bad.
No, he's not the lowest.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all. So I guess it did work. Um,
Actually, he's got quite a few under him at that point.
yeah. I wouldn't trust Nightlight right now if you're looking at that.
I am.
It's still recovering from 2v8
Oh, fair.
because for
I can't believe
some,
he's got a higher pick rate than Pyramid Head right now. That's crazy.
I can't believe that Nightlight took 2v8 stats into account.
Yeah, that's kind of sus.
Yeah, what's Huntress's play rate on there? It's like,
Huntress?
yeah, she's probably number one still.
Oh yeah, she's number one. She's got a 7.5% pick rate,
Mm.
and then Wesker's at 5%.
Man, it's so strange. Also, I find it funny because is Chucky's like right under them, right? He's number 3 now or 5.
Let's see, one, two, three, four. Yeah, Chucky's number
5.
5.
I just find it odd that his play rate is as high as it is.
I'm
To
sorry, he's 6.
oh
He
whoa
went down.
who's above him?
Spirit,
Who's above that?
Billy.
Spirit overtook Chucky. All right, all right, all right. Um, I just find it funny that he's up there with all of them, but like once again, I know like 10 Billy players. I know like 20 Huntress players. I know like 10 Wesker players. I know
Mhm.
like 10 Spirit players. I can think of like 3 Chucky players. It still makes no sense to me that his play rate is as high as it is. Um, because it's on Nightlight. It's self-reported, so it's not just like the general player base either.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's weird. But I guess Larry's getting back up there, which is nice. It's nice to see. I guess maybe now that the honeymoon period's over, the changes people are starting to realize it more and more how good he actually is.
Also, 2v8 is no longer in the game, so more people are probably like trying. They're actually coming back and trying the new content.
That's true. Um, I don't know. And I know like right now things are a little weird. I know some people have been saying they've been having rough matches the past couple days. Uh,
Mhm.
I know why that is. It's because Dracula comes out on Tuesday,
Yeah.
so a lot of people are waiting. that's that's really what's happening right now. Plus the new World of Warcraft expansion came out. Um, plus like there's been a lot of releases recently. I mean, Splitgate 2 Alpha is happening this weekend.
Hmm.
There's a lot happening this weekend as to why people aren't really playing Dead by Daylight and why the MMR has been kind of bad this week. Um, but like Larry's other add-ons changes as well, because I think the add-on changes were honestly, I think overall they did a very good job. I don't think they touched any of the ones that didn't need to be touched. Um,
There's one that I can think of that did not get touched that I really wish did.
which was
Um, that would be the hologram generator or the coffee filter. Um, that add-on it does the exact same thing and it's still completely useless.
what's what does it do? I don't even remember.
So that one, if you teleport to somebody with a biopod, they are oblivious for 60 seconds
Oh, what?
while you're chasing them. So they become oblivious while you're probably chasing them, unless you just teleport to them and then walk away. But that's don't do that. That's weird.
That's
But yeah, it
what?
does nothing.
It's such a strange add-on.
Yeah, it's very and it's a green, so I don't know what they were cooking with that particular add-on. I'm very upset that that one did not get changed. I would rather it just give him undetectable because then it makes more sense for him to like teleport and then rotate away.
Well, not even that. Like, if you're undetectable, you don't have a red stain. Like, yeah, it's still useful in chase.
Yeah.
Um, but being oblivious in chase is like pointless.
We had I was having a discussion with somebody about this add-on and how much I hate it. But they had the idea to if you teleport to somebody with a biopod, then everybody who is slipstreamed is oblivious for like for 60 seconds. I thought that was a pretty good idea.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would also encourage you to slipstream more people.
I still don't think it would be a very good add-on, but at least it would be like
No,
you could like it could be kind of gimmicky.
yeah. I mean, I've said this before with a plastic bag on Chucky. Like, if they just swap the exhaustion to oblivious, like it wouldn't be great, but it would be good. Like, you could use it.
It'd be niche. Yeah.
Yeah, combine it with Gearhead.
Mhm.
Um, But yeah, it's like I can see changes there, but like his other ones, like his Browns got a fucking
Yeah.
glow up completely.
Yeah. So he also had some rarities adjusted. So like the diagnostic tool repair that used to be a yellow and it used to if you hit somebody in overclock they would be mangled for 60 seconds. They scrapped that and now it's a brown add-on, but it gives him range to his scan from the
Hmm.
biopods.
Yeah,
uh that add-on does not leave my loadout now. It
it
is
is
addicting to
it is
use.
so good.
It is
It's
so good. It's a brown, it's a fucking brown.
it's like fundamentally changes the character too.
It's crazy. Oh my god, it's so much fun. It's the add-on is like crack. It really is.
Um, it's nuts how like it like on paper it probably is a small change when you really think about it, but in practice it's huge.
It's massive because it's like it's the difference between getting a an important like scan or a teleport that you needed. Like it's just it's insane.
It makes the what's the EMP range
The I believe it's the radius for the EMP. I believe it's 10 meters,
and the base cam range?
20 meters.
Okay. I was just curious, like, if it. I mean, even then, like, if you're doing it from farther away, like, it just means they can't like run up to it while you're scanning them or something. Like, I don't know, like that just allows for more variety. That's the thing with that, or not variety, options. It gives you more options.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, you could place your pods from further away to like watch important generators because they might think, oh, well, this is too far away. So they may not see it because they're not looking like off in the distance. So it can catch people off guard. It can be, like you said, if somebody's running to EMP your biopod and you see them coming, like you can prevent that. Like
yeah.
it's just, there's so many.
You can also like spread your web out more, which makes it harder for
Mhm.
them to EMP the cameras.
Also, you can use less biopods because now you have the range to cover an area that you need to
Yeah.
cover without having multiple pods. Like, Now you have more for chase, or you have more to watch your crates. Like, it's crazy. The add-on is so good, and I'm genuinely shocked that it did not get nerfed from PTB to live.
Um, my favorite add-on didn't get changed, so or my favorite add-on got buffed. My second favorite add-on didn't get changed at all.
What's your second favorite one?
Cremated remains.
Oh yeah, we love cremated remains in this household.
The
Yeah,
best,
that add-on didn't get touched.
yeah, the best blindness add-on in the game that no one talks about.
Yep. Nope, the add-on is insanely good, and I'll die on that hill.
Um,
Ball Glove got kind of a uh I don't want to say it got gutted, but it got hurt. It definitely got hurt.
but
Um
I do think with Soma getting the change it did, to what it is now, where it doesn't give you the buff. I think that alone did help Singularity's add-ons.
yeah.
While like we could sit here and argue, oh, if it was necessary to run Somas or not. The fact is now you don't like. I don't think there now. I don't think there's really an argument for like you must run this add-on now, right?
No, yeah, that was the whole joke with like the Singularity community is like, "Oh my god, we have two add-on slots now, guys."
It's like Night with Map of the Realm, which
Yeah.
I'm curious how that's going to change on Tuesday or not. We'll see. Uh, I just dated this video, but I don't care. But yeah, well, like Soma, just like I never ran Soma. It's because I would run Rapid Brutality.
Yeah. I
That's
used
why.
to
That's why I
where
didn't run it.
I was a shill.
But like it did, like for a lot of people, it did feel necessary, and it made him feel better a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like them making it slightly base kit and getting rid of the add-on completely, I think was for the better. Um,
Yeah, I think what they did was good. So the instead of the 5%, it's now 3% haste in overclock base kit, which it just the reason that Soma felt so good is because one of Singularity's like his best kind of plays is just well hold W, break line of sight, hold W, and the haste kind of helps with that because now they can't just W key you from pallet to pallet,
mhm.
and the 3% still helps with that. So um, same quality of life without the crazy strength.
Yeah, and I mean the rest of Overclock is basically the same. I mean they changed some minor things. Um, the duration being one of them.
Yeah, man.
To be okay, here's the thing with that change. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Singularity had a secret passive, quote unquote secret passive, where for every person slipstreamed, it would increase overclock's duration by a second, wasn't
Yep.
it?
So 1 second per slipstream survivor.
Yes. This was not said anywhere in the power description. It was not, I don't even think people discovered it until like a month after he came out.
Nope. Yep. Because it wasn't in the wiki. It wasn't in his power description. Until I don't even know who figured it out, but somebody figured it out, and then it was like, oh,
Um,
okay.
so so this was like a secret thing. Um, And honestly, what they ended up doing was just making the one that you get from the one person base kit is basically what they did. So essentially, it's as if you have that one, but you would be the math works out. So like basic, in essence, you would have always had the one. Pretty much, they nerfed it, but not really. It's
Yeah, because what it used to be is the base used to be 4.7 seconds, and every person that slipstreamed would add a second to that. But you
mm,
couldn't even enter overclock without one person slipstream to teleport to.
yeah,
So in effect, it was always 5.7 seconds, just not the base number was different. But now they took away the passive, and now it's always 5.7 unless you have like ball glove add-on on.
yeah.
Um, but I think that the I'm sad that they took that away, and it's not because I necessarily liked having the longer overclock. I just liked the idea of being rewarded for splitting pressure and to keeping multiple people tagged. I don't even necessarily care what that reward was, but I feel like it's nice to have the game like throw you a bone when you're playing well, even if
Mm.
it's just a small number change.
I wonder if they're going to get rid of Wesker's passive,
I don't know.
because that's another one no one ever talks about. It's not listed anywhere in the power description.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that one I knew about was Wesker's.
I think that's the big reason I'm not too mad about them getting rid of it because it wasn't listed anywhere, so I kind of understand. But at the same time, it was I don't know. It felt like part of the character once I learned about it. You know,
Hmm.
it didn't really probably affect much, but it was just nice to know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's nice, and like I said, the idea of being rewarded for playing well was something that I really enjoyed, and I'm kind of sad that that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the whole goal, because the whole point of his changes was to make him easier to understand, and I think that ties into that because now it's a flat number. You don't have to think about it. Survivors don't have to think about it because they may not know why your overclock just lasted 10 seconds.
Yeah. Uh,
So it gives him it's just it's for consistency, I think.
yeah. I think another good change they did that I also forget exists is you can remove your cameras manually now.
Yep, I
Um,
forget about that all the time.
I
I
forget it's
forget
a
that
thing,
exists.
and I don't know why. Like, it's such a useful thing, but a lot of times I'll still walk over to the cam and get rid of it. Um,
I've started using it a little bit more as of late because sometimes, like, if you're trying to teleport to somebody, you might accidentally place a biopod. If I'm by a hook, I can just go into my camera and I can delete it. So,
I,
I've started to use it more now that I've kind of gotten used to it being there. But yeah, at first it's like I totally forgot that it existed.
I think if they just made it so you don't have to go into the camera and you can just look at it and hold the power button or something,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
They also it was really long on the PTB. Like it was what was it like 2.5 seconds?
yeah, it was insanely long, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot better now. It's 0.75 seconds to delete it, so it definitely feels much smoother to use. So it has a little bit more utility now.
Yeah, like I do kind of just wish you didn't have to go into the camera. It just makes it feel sluggish, I guess.
Yeah.
It's 1.5 on PTB apparently.
1.5. Okay.
It still felt like a fucking eternity.
Yeah, it felt like 2.5 seconds.
Um, but I mean, otherwise, other than all of that, I think the biggest other changes that have happened to him are like what else is in here? Change overclock duration, bipod seconds. Oh, the yellow auras.
Hmm.
the, double the yellow aura highlight for the last control bipod for, to 10 seconds to 5. The amount of people, including Singularity mains, who didn't know this was a thing was really funny to me when this change happened. Because once again, I didn't main Singularity. I dabble. He's like my secondary character. Um, I always thought the yellow bipod was a bipod that just got EMP'd. That's what I
Oh,
always thought.
really?
That's what I always thought it meant. I thought it was a bipod that you. I thought okay. Let me rephrase it. The way I thought it worked was if you look at a camera that's EMP'd and you get out of the camera view, if it's yellow, that means that camera was EMP'd. That's what
Yeah.
I thought it meant.
It's God, it's such a small thing. But it's one of those things where it kind of helps me with like orienting myself because if I just scan somebody and then I exit my cam, sometimes I get a little bit turned around because
Mhm.
you have all these little white dots all over your screen. But it definitely helps, and increasing it, like I don't chalk that up to being like a necessary change, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy they did it. Like I don't mind.
I don't think it really affects anything. It's just nice.
It it's just it's one of those like it's just quality of life. That's all it is. It doesn't do anything for the power. It doesn't adjust his strength. It's just like, oh, okay.
But I mean, I think that's really all the changes. Like I think we need to go over. I think.
Anti-camp.
Oh right, the anti camp. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Something that shouldn't have been in his kit in the first place. Um, so basically, he doesn't have a penalty for going into a camera next to a hook anymore, which is
Right.
shouldn't have been there in the first place. It was really dumb because he came out on the patch for the anti camp, didn't he?
I believe so.
Um, so like it had no purpose. It was really dumb, and it just punished you for looking in your cams at the hook. And like the only time I could see it like being like a balancing thing was like in game, but even then it's in game. Who cares?
Yeah, and the anti-camp disables the end game anyway. So I mean, like the the survivor, like they're the anti-camp meter. it
Hmm.
disables it in game.
Yeah,
Singularity stayed though.
it was really really dumb, and like it's something that, I don't know. Is this still a thing with twins? Do you know?
I I mean, you can't switch when you're too close to the hook, so I don't think they get the speed penalty though.
Yeah, but does Victor still cause the anti-camp meter to go off? I don't remember if they changed that back or
I'm
not.
not sure.
Um, but like it's just like it seemed like a superfluous change to like fix a problem that wasn't there or needed to fix.
Yeah.
It's just it's nice to hook someone and then just like look at a camera quick and just get out
God,
because
it's so weird to get into the habit of doing that because I was so used to playing around the god awful anti camp. Like, okay, I'm gonna put this person on the hook, and then I'm gonna walk away a few steps, and then I'm gonna check my camera to try and go somewhere else. Because if you check the camera while you're too close, it's like the anti camp was forcing you to camp by being close to the hook for 5 seconds.
it was
But that's
it was also like the range. It's very similar to like artists, but like artists I don't mind so much. But it's like the exact range to stand away from it was like not the easiest thing to gauge sometimes. So like
mhm,
you'd be like, oh, I'm far enough away, and then you weren't even close.
yeah,
And then so like you'll get
that
out of
was
your
stupid.
camera and like be super slowed down for like no reason without any explanation.
Yeah,
It was
no, it was
just
awful.
it was such a dumb thing, and like I don't think it's increased his camping potential.
No, because I mean, the thing that would make him really strong at camping, and I think that this is fine that they kept it, was if you try and scan somebody that's like too close to the hook, or if they're actively unhooking, then it takes a long time to scan to apply slipstream to teleport. Like it goes up very slowly,
Yeah,
and I think that's fine because that's really that would really cause a problem if that didn't exist.
yeah. I think and yeah, that's just so he can't camp from the other side of the map.
Yeah,
It'd be one thing if he was like doing it right then and there, but like if he's yeah, the camera slowed down. I think is fine. I can't see why anyone would complain about that one, honestly. Um,
yeah, but no, it's nice to be able to just hook somebody, check a cam, and then walk away or teleport away or whatnot. And it's super nice quality of life. Very happy they did that.
yeah, it's also like part of the reason why I hate to say it. I think it's part of the reason why his slugging play style became as good as it was. Um,
Yeah,
because you kind of got punished for staying near the hook.
because it
Um,
kind of throws off your momentum. Like if you hook somebody and then you have to walk away before you can do anything else.
yeah. Uh, and then they also the meatball goes away when they get hooked,
Yep.
which it
Hmm.
should. I think it should. I mean, we were talking earlier if it should go away when you get slugged too, but um,
Yeah.
I think for the hook argument, I think for sure it should go away.
This does not exist. I feel like this should. I wish that EMPs also got destroyed when they got hooked. But they don't.
They don't.
No, if they get hooked and they have an EMP in their hand, they keep it when they get unhooked. I feel like it should be destroyed when they get hooked.
I think it should just be destroyed when they get downed.
I think I'm fine with them because the meatball doesn't go away, so I'm fine with the EMP staying in their hand too. But
Okay, fair
I think
enough.
on hook, I feel like it should get destroyed, kind of like a Sadako tape, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Sadako's tape, I think they blow up when they get hooked.
No, no, I thought Sadako destroyed them when she hits somebody.
No, I don't think no, not when she hits somebody. I think it's only when they get hooked because you can get hit in a W key to the TV. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only when they get hooked because that's when they keep their stacks locked in too. Their condemned stacks.
Mm, okay.
But yeah, that's a want for me. I want the EMPs to blow up when they get hooked. That's it.
So, we're gonna get to the some of the viewer questions here in a second, but in general, though, your thoughts on the overall package of the Larry changes, though. I from what I can tell, you really enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I might be biased because I do play with a controller. I'm a console scrub, but overall, I think he feels great to play. I think everything helps him feel very cohesive. He feels very smooth. Doesn't have a whole lot of issues, except for a few that we talked about. But the vast majority, I'm very pleased with the changes.
Fair enough. So, I got a lot of joke questions, but some of them are a little bit different. But Man of Action asks, how much setup should you do with the pods? Should you try and set almost all of them up before chasing, or only place them during a chase?
So I think the great thing about Singularity is how versatile he is. So, like I said, what I do at the start of the game is I like to set up cameras in like high traffic areas where I think people are going to be running to. Um, I don't think you should be placing them around generators except for in certain situations. Like if there's a generator that's being worked on that's it's got a lot more progress than you're comfortable with, throw up a pod and watch it because somebody's probably going to want to go back to it. So you can probably get a slipstream or a teleport. Um, what I think people should be doing is you want to know where your crates are going to be. You want to know where your EMPs are going to be because that is how you get your pressure. Micromanaging EMPs is like it's a massive part of his kit. When you are setting up, you want to put your cameras by your EMP crates. You want to keep an eye on those. You want to stop those from getting printed and done. Um, and in general, you also want to keep a few in your pocket for chase because that's where a lot of your lethality comes from. But maybe keeping one or two on hand for chase because they can be recycled. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to put a camera up when you chase somebody, tag them, remove the camera, teleport to them, and then now they're slipstream, so you can just manually teleport to them with your gun arm. You don't really have to worry about it.
Mm. Um, Next one. This is from Gummy Peach Rings.
Oh boy, gummy.
Would you eat Would you eat the new? What the fuck is that? The nutritional slurry or the heavy water?
The nutritional slurry.
Oh, nutritional. I can't read. Shut up. I have two.
Isn't heavy water like a waste product from like nuclear fusion? That shit'll kill you.
Hang on.
What is heavy water? Hold on.
On the one, his response to this afterwards. On one hand, you have gross bran flakes and yucky veggies, gross. On the other, you have slurpy, slurpy, yummy water, drinky, drinky, drink.
Okay, I'm pretty sure heavy water can kill you if it's ingested.
Is it nuclear runoff? Is that what heavy water
I
is?
don't Heavy water, it's water that contains hold on. What happens if you drink heavy water? Thank you, Google, for existing. Uh so it can cause dizziness and low blood pressure if you drink it.
But not death. I didn't hear
No, but
death.
it can cause headaches, fatigue, swollen hands, feet, lips, hyponatremia.
I'm not hearing
Uh,
fatality at all anywhere in there.
okay, so it could not kill you, but it would probably make you uncomfortable. But
Probably all.
it it would probably not be a good time. But I thought it had something to do with like I thought it was like some sort of nuclear waste product, not actually water.
Um,
Um,
I always thought it was just
but yeah, I would
oil.
probably go with I would probably go with the nutritional slurry because that's meant to be consumed. Like it's what it exists for. It may not taste good, but it's not going to give me muscle cramps or fatigue or low blood pressure. So
uh, um, Arshimi Bob asks, "Do you use any of his voice lines in day-to-day discussions?" What?
yes, yeah, no. I'm trying to think offhand because
You never just like walked
I
up
mean,
to your boss at work and just been like, "Listen here, you insolent little worm."
oh god, I think the only thing that I've done that, and it might be a little bit cringe, but like he has some voice lines when he like breaks pallets where he's like, "Oh, no longer useful." Sometimes I'll say that shit when I like throw something away.
Yeah, Twitch chat. If you have any questions for about anything for Singularity or for Phoenix herself, just post them. It's fine. Um,
Tell my cats their jeans are usable. It's fine.
the jeans are useful. Your cat's genes are usable? Are you,
Probably.
are you
No,
sure
actually,
about
probably not.
that?
No, no, probably not.
um, I'm gonna fucking Daedric Heels asks, what skin concept do you think would be cool for the Singularity? Now we talked about this earlier, but you did the submission obviously for the Mantis. Um,
I did. I made one.
are there any other ones that you've seen that like really stood out to you from others?
um, a lot of people have the idea of making him like overgrown with like foliage and plants. I think that's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the idea of like a steampunk singularity skin. I think that'd be really cool.
Mm. I would.
Like give him like the clockwork like cogs and everything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that would look really neat.
Victorian punk or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I think for me, I would love to see. A lot of people submitted bug ones. It's very
Yeah.
common. Um, I think I kind of want to see full form singularity.
Yeah, like his perfect form.
Yeah, I think it's something I think a lot of us want to see. I think that's honestly the biggest thing I want is I want to see like full like what he imagines perfection is,
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that. Um
and why it's David from Prometheus. Could you imagine?
God.
I say that as a
I
joke. I say it as a joke, but like if we get a Michael Fassbender skin for Singularity, I would lose my fucking mind.
oh my god. I know I've heard you like talk about this, but have you ever like played Subnautica or seen like gameplay of Subnautica?
Yes.
Do you know what the warpers are?
Considering I can't play it for more than 5 minutes, no.
Okay, yeah. But they're an enemy type. They're like they're biomechanical beings, so they're like they're alive, but they're synthetic. And they also have little claw arms and little like squid tentacles, and they can teleport. So I'm like, if they ever did a crossover with Subnautica, there you go. We got a singularity skin. That'd be so cool. I
I,
think I thought about it and I was like, you know, in the warpers they even have that same like mechanical like AI voice when they talk. They're fucking scary.
mhm.
I'm like, that'd be so it fits so well.
There's a,
Subnautica, please. Unknown Worlds, please.
I could see him doing it because like I don't think Subnautica like I feel like Subnautica could fit in Dead by Daylight, but I think skins would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it would be a chapter. I think it would be like a cosmetic or a skin, a collection.
Noob King 3000 asks if there was one thing you could change about Singularity: chase music, power, add-ons, sound effects. What would it be?
Gosh, I think ugh, aside from the big ones, so like Soma, Killer Instinct, the fucking coffee filter add-on, I don't the only thing I would change, it's going to be the same answer that I gave before, is I just want him to have a little bit more vertical range when he places a pod. Like I want to be able to place it higher up on the environment.
Mm. Yeah,
But
I think behavior is trying to nick verticality in the butt a lot.
yeah, which does suck.
Call this a hunch. I think within in about a year or so, I think Nurse isn't going to be able to teleport up or through floors.
Jeez,
I
that
have
would be the day.
well, see, you joke, you laugh a little bit. I have a feeling that's what they're going to do to finally like make him
Really.
not good. She would still
Knock her
be
off her throne a little
well.
bit.
She would still be good, but she would finally have more map dependency.
Yeah, and she wouldn't be good in every situation. Like you would actually be safe if you were working on a high level, like a
Hmm.
generator that's on a higher surface. Like it wouldn't just be like, oh well, guess I'm fucked. You can just teleport up here.
I'm only saying that because, like I said, they do seem to be trying to kill verticality on like every killer.
Yeah.
The one exceptions it seems to be right now are like Pinhead, I guess, but that's not even that big of a deal most of the time. And Dredge? Question mark? Because like you can put your remnant on top of a hill, drop down, and then go back to the remnant, but like
Mm.
question mark to that one. But like most other killers don't really have verticality because like even like Nemesis and Nemesis, Deathslinger, Huntress, and Trickster have limits on what they can shoot through, hit through, and even how far they can look up.
Yeah.
Um, so part of me, like, I really do have a sneaking suspicion if they do touch Nurse again, I think that's what they're going to do to try to bring her down.
I mean,
Without,
I guess it's without what considering what they've already done to her, like they've given her a power meter, they've gutted her add-ons, like they changed her ability to use like M2. Um or yeah, they've taken away her ability to use like exposed perks. Like they have done so much to that killer and she is still insane. So I guess that's like the most logical next step.
I mean, I can't think of anything else they could do other than just like, oh, she also can't see auras.
Yeah, I don't know what else they could do to that killer to actually like bring her down.
Um,
But like with Singularity, like the whole like verticality thing with his pods, he has a cap where he can only place them 5 meters above his own head. But that can be manipulated a little bit. So if you stand on a hill, you can actually place it higher up.
right.
So uh like there's a really fun spot on RPD above the main hall where you can't place a biopod from like the ground level, but if you stand on the hallways upstairs, you can place it up there on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And we call those god pods because they overlook. You see everything. Toba has a few as well, but I would be it would be nice to be able to place pods like that without having to like walk upstairs.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be nice for them to look into. I would even be cool if it was just an add-on.
Yeah.
If there was like an add-on that like just increased the verticality that can be placed. It kind of sucked that you had to bring an add-on for it, but you know. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, I would use it. I would use it, absolutely. I mean, I use the range add-on now.
yeah. uh, uh, Column Long asks, "Do you think the buff Singularity received was needed? If not, which killers would you say needed a buff rather than Singularity?"
Huh. So, while I do love the changes that he got, the buffs, I don't want to say they were necessary. I get why they did it because they just wanted to make him more popular amongst people, amongst, everybody else in the community. Um, I don't think they were necessary because if you were already good at Singularity, like you were already dominating like most of your matches. So it definitely was not a necessity. But it was. I don't think they were bad changes. I think they were good.
Mm.
Um, as for other killers that I would change, the most obvious answers are already getting adjustments with Dredge and Nemesis getting changes. But I think on terms of buffs, I think this might be a bit of a hot take. I think Pyramid Head has been power crept quite a lot. Um, I love that killer, and I would really like to see an add-on pass. I think everybody would like to see a Pyramid Head add-on pass at this point.
He's not on
But I
the.
really think he what?
I said he's not on the list, is he?
I don't think so.
Huh.
But I mean, his add-on pass is something people have been asking for a long time, and I really do think that he's been massively power crept by other killers.
Okay. There's one last question after this one, but and
Uh huh.
I do agree though. I think like I think I don't think it was a necessary change. Anything that's happened to Larry with this update, but like I don't think it was just nice to happen. I think it's showcasing a killer that kind of needed some love, whether it was skins or an add-on pass or anything like that. And I think that's really all
Hmm.
it was. It was just the devs showing like we haven't forgotten this killer because it felt like they kind of did.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
which I know is virtually impossible to do for every killer in the game because we have like 37 of them. But you know, it's still nice to get some acknowledgement here and there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it was a necessity because I mean, if the people who are already, like I said, good at Singularity, they didn't need these changes. These changes weren't for those people who were already comfortable with the killer. They were for people who wanted to learn the killer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, I guess in that instance, you could say that yes, they were necessary because they were for a different crowd of people. It, it it kind of goes into that whole debate again of like, well, does this change his skill expression? But I don't think they were necessary for me, but they were necessary for somebody else.
Yeah. Um, the next question is more of a lore one or kind of a skin one,
Mhm.
but in chat, the spoiler to TV asks, in Tome 16, Hux A713, Memory Fragments, we get our first memory of Hux with his thoughts and a video of a humanoid form Singularity. Would you want an outfit like this in the future, or would you prefer it only stays in tomes? So basically, would you want a
Oh,
humanoid version of Larry?
they're referring to, I think, the same, like the actual like Hux unit that we saw in the Tome cutscene, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, maybe not like a humanoid skin in game, because that would be like they'd have to make like a whole new model, a whole new rig.
Mm-hmm.
But what we could do is we could see maybe like an allusion to that, like give him similarities like to it, like model the face to look like that, and maybe the color scheme, or add features that are similar to it onto his existing model. So maybe like a Easter egg kind of skin more than like an actual like a recreation of it. I think that would be cool though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to stray too far away. I'm cool with like the bug skins because like I think it's different enough. But like I feel like if we stray too much into the humanoid stuff, it like I think it goes too far in what Singularity is supposed to be. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think you can maneuver it to where it's like an allusion to that particular look without copying it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um.
I think that'd be a really cool skin actually if they did something like that. I'd be all for it.
Last question. How many days left for Silent Hill 2?
46 days.
Well, we just dated this. That's fine. Uh. Well, Phoenix. I know this
I'm
was
sorry, 45 days. I
oh
was wrong.
45 days. I know this was a shorter one than usual for those listening. I wasn't really sure how to do the follow ups, but I think this is probably how we're going to do it. Just go through all the changes and get opinions and such on it.
Mhm.
The new Singularity's been out when this video comes out for like 5 months, but as of now, it's been like 3 months, 2 months, 1 month.
Um, I want to say it's been about a month. Let's see, when did 8.1 come out?
It feels longer. Ugh. Um, but yeah,
Probably. Yeah, because it was the Vecna mid chapter, so it's been a month and a half
yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
Dracula is right around the road.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it'll be like 3 months. But
Yeah.
um, but it was nice to have someone come on for the follow up though, because I know opinions and such change, but um, especially I don't know if you've rewatched our interview after I finally uploaded it. Um, we got pretty much everything wrong, but I don't like
We
I
did.
I don't think anything we wanted came to fruition, which is fine.
There was one thing that you said in there that you wanted. This is a small thing, but it did end up happening. The sounds in the biopods are now
Oh
they're,
yeah,
they're there.
yeah. They made the audio thing, and now that it's
I
there, I
think you
don't
said
care.
that.
Now that it's there, I don't care. It's
It's
such.
funny because I cared about that change. I didn't really care about it that much in the patch notes, but now that I've been playing with it in game, it's like, oh my god, this gen has 4 pistons. I can hear it. Oh shit, I can hear myself losing the game actively. But also like injured people, like people are resetting behind this
Hmm.
tree and I can hear it. Like
Yeah,
it's stuff like that. Like it's very little like niche interactions that they do make a difference. So I'm actually like, oh, this is a really nice change now.
yeah. It's. I don't understand why it wasn't there from the start. I don't know why it had to be an add-on.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been add-on, but it better late than never, I guess.
But in any case, Vinix, I think I'll let you go from here. Like I said to everyone listening and to you, I know this was a little bit shorter. Um, but we didn't really talk about like once again, this isn't us talking about the killer. We're just kind of just doing a follow up on thoughts and such.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you stopping by, and if you want to give your stuff out. And for those who don't know who Phoenix is, like we said earlier, um, they are probably one of the biggest people who helps me with my content in general, not just with timestamps, but uh, looking over thumbnails, looking over video stuff, helping me get footage sometimes. For real, support the people who support me. Anyways, if you want to say, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, of course. I am on Twitch. I do stream once or twice a week. It's just Phoenix Taru. I'm on Twitter. Sometimes I post there, and my YouTube has been a lot more active as of late. I have some stuff there, Singularity content, and that is also just Phoenix Taru.
All right, and all that'll be linked below as always. In any case, for those listening on the YouTubes, I love y'all. Have a good one, and yeah, bye.